Hello. Oh. Anyways, this lecture is really unexpected. I had no clue that I would be compelled to discuss issues that are right in the bed with many Americans. And the topic is American adult chat lines. Now, by social, observant, participatory research procedure that I derived at via my independent research interests to address the fatherlessness of America and the social trends of men, cock, power, and the perversion of power, led me to inspect male homosexuality on a gay chat line. And, you know, like many folks, they say it's just a matter of time when these chat lines are going to be closed down, because the manner by which these men are interrogating one another through cock size, height, musculature, money, will really be a ruthless thing for gay law and gay democracy should it continue. These chat lines feed off of lonely men. Now, there's the straight side, and there's heterosexual women and heterosexual men, or bisexual men, or men that are on the straight side looking for a chick with a dick or a she-male, and they're doing it through the crossovers where heterosexual women are on the chat line looking for heterosexual men. So there's this gender flopping that occurs. And when it comes to the gay side, it's sort of like it goes beyond just gender flopping. It's like a gender salad with all types of expressions of gender. There's heterosexual men that are acting like women because they said that their wives and their girlfriends back at home, or their girlfriends or wives are shopping or something, have taught them to be whores. So there's this transgender fuck complication going on. There's this man's man acting very feminized because he's a bottom and he likes to take it up the rear end by somebody who is a top, who penetrates them with their member, their third member. The chicks with the dicks, the she-males, the trannies, the transsexuals, the pre-op, the transvestites, you will find that all on the gay side, intermittently. Within 5 minutes, I located 2 priests, one being Franciscan, with the brown robes, you know, and the robes. And I've mentioned that in some of my human trafficking investigations, because the clergy has a place in on human trafficking. But this lecture is not my extensive human trafficking analysis initiative and or basically monitoring elements that I carry out as a social scientist with an undergraduate degree in criminal justice. Notwithstanding, there are direct links to sex trade that you'll find on these chat lines. So I went on the chat line and I reenacted some young kid, very young, poor, got out of male prostitution, got off of crystal meth, got his head from out of the gutter, and he's not streamlining pornographic adult material. And he's in school. But he's broke, and he needs a father figure that's not going to molest him. So this dramatist persona, or this mock-up characterization of a caller calling in to the chat line, which was me as an actor to get data collection, it's all anonymous, so it was harmless, and I wasn't breaking any American sociological, guidelines. A caller responds to the outgoing message, and he says, I'm tattooed, I have long hair, I have piercings, I'm twisted, I love heavy metal music. Now this is kind of like a stereotype, okay? Not all heavy metal connoisseurs of such music is going to maybe be body pierced or will claim to be twisted, like to the degree of male whoredoms on a chat line. And he recorded a message that I soon then after retrieved. And he stated that good luck with your search to find a man, but these men are going to use you up and you have no hope. So the message that I replied to, I stated, I'm proving that wrong because I've gotten out of the streets, I've gotten off of dope, I've put my pornography addiction in a container that is realistic for me, and I'm back in school because it keeps my head from looking to the dark side for love in all the wrong places. And I said, young man, I said, you're wrong. So what was in this study happened to be a self-fulfilling prophecy directed toward another caller, and the caller stood up for himself. You see, when people are gathered and the adrenaline is of shared value and the hype becomes akin to everybody's personality, and so everybody, let's say, raises their hands at church to praise the Lord because everybody's praising the Lord, and 80% claims it's the Holy Spirit. So the rest, needs to claim that it is the Holy Spirit. There's this group solidarity and persuasion by power numbers. These chat lines have a way of sucking people in and getting them dialoguing about things that normally they would not be dialoguing about to reach a level of orgasm. And the dialoguing is very exploitative in such a context that, according to the United Nations, falls under human trafficking code. This is very scary. And I'm touching on adult chat line victimology because it is used in such a fashion to oppress people, to blind them by a false sense of dignity. And they think that the self-respect and the respect to others is determined on who's getting who off and what type of age play is occurring throughout the duration of telephonic communication, etc. One of the observations that I have made in the adult chat line surveying that I did was men and masculinity. And that there is this proving one's masculinity by engaging in very abusive, dehumanizing, debilitating, paralyzing discussions as, friends with benefits, bromance, two brothers having sex with one another, as role-playing, which is completely incestual, father-son reenactments, where a young boy in the gay culture is looking for an older man, and the older man obliges to, servicing the young boy, and there is this father-son dynamic, which is figurative, is like metaphorical to the reality of biological father, biological son having sex. So the undertone of such powerful discussing pedophilic with the boy being underaged is cruelly so much unhidden, incestual, devised treatment with men. And this is attracting trouble because it is contributing to pedophilia, the exploitative predator, fraternity, prison scene, man in uniform, a lot of other organized themes found within the gay liberation movement. Now, in this, there is a thing called gender raking. And there's a rank of gender that occurs. That could be money, it could be age, young boy versus daddy. It could be hairy chest, bear, like a big guy, like the bear community, men that look like bears or wolves. There is this gender ranking that occurs. And in the societies of ranking gender, there is prestige and power and social constructs that are developed out of endowment. And of course, I've been saying there's a cotton culture research behind this. There's a cotton culture theory of a social scale, because the man can move up if he has a larger endowment, or even if he doesn't even have a larger endowment, he is able to use his smaller endowment because he is a top. He's the one showing the male dominative role. And there's a hierarchy in the male men and male women and female men role playing that occurs. There is huge issues having to do with wealth based on driving the Mercedes, driving the BMW or the Porsche, and spending the money on the young boy as imitation for I am your daddy and I'm going to take you home after I coerce you through expensive dining on behalf of eventually raping you. And in this there is transvestitism, there is masculinity and homophobia figured into the subculture. And because there is this, I'm afraid of my girlfriend or wife knowing that I wear her panties because I'm a transvestite, from 9 to 5, I get off on her undergarments underneath my suit. When it comes to the nightmare being fulfilled of the woman catching the guy in the act with another guy, in fantasy this is a turn on too, because it is only hatred toward women, and because the man hates his own homosexuality, the woman finds a type of sissy that is marked as feminine in the classified men in secret closets. This is surrounding the boy and variations of associated, imitated forms of masculinity and demasculation. And all this is occurring on chat lines. There's gender stereotypes of feminine openness, where the man is allowed to be like the female whore. And there's barebacking with no condoms, and it's high risk of HIV transmission. There's also a gossip group that goes on in chat lines. Oh, did you meet Brad the other night? He has a blah, blah, blah inch, blah, 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 you know, middle third member. And the person that's going out to gossip about this person is expected to provide phone number, as masculine behavior as I am the man in charge because I have the contacts, because I'm running the meat market, and in this occasion to seek relationship with such a hot masculine type, you can have him too if you abide by the new responsibilities of being feminized, because he's a top. So there's an increasing level of gossip among the men that is in the same contextual representation of women. So you find this feminization, this devastated demasculation of the value of true masculinity by creating leads, by adapting to the pressures of sexual deviant norms in the interpersonal relations as one is dialoguing on these chat lines, which is completely out of balance, and it's not a true form of masculinity. That's the facts. There is a decline of value in actuality, and there is a decline of social status in truth when you are addicted to these adult chat lines from the premise that one is lonely and one is needy for validation. We have characterized several points, and I think that in all this there has to be some type of accountability. This largely growing community among gay men in a gay culture does not really set us up for a safe gay community. And that is owing to men that are seeking quick fixes, declarative sentences on how masculine they may be, and the lower standards of chasing for sex and calling it good. Because not all these contacts are going to give you an address for an actual physical hookup. Some of it is just fantasy adult play with extreme divisions of taboo. Taboo meaning underaged play, or incestual with your uncle or with your son, and moving upright into a homosexual hierarchy, because the more volatile and vile the language is, that creates dynamic, vulgar insinuations of sexual violence, the status. But in fact, it's just sexual terrorism. And this is not a safe place for the heart of man that's seeking a prize of love and monogamy in a safer global gay community where we are focusing on the globalization of homosexuality, gay law, gay democracy to end hate crimes throughout the world, and ultimately in every part of home life support the legalization of same-gender marriage. These adult chat line performances are definite social science emergencies for men. It's filled with incredible madness on accepting the self, and this rationalization to be sensational and push all the envelopes to inherit this type of gay hierarchy is via conceptualized fantasy building. And it's very imaginative, it's very creative, and in cognitive science and the cortex of the brain, where we're at the pre-cortex, and how we're linking cognition and memory with reflection and feeling, that after these harmoniously presented social impact of isolated gay sex on these chat lines, you only learn that you're surrendering an identity that is very sane in the normal life. You are surrendering it to be metaphorically raped. And this is not for a opportunity to grow among gay law and gay democracy, because it's a tainted father-child relationship. There's this sense of wanting a rich daddy or seeking a mentor or a role model, and at the temporal, transitory, fleeting dimension of the men's lives on these chat lines, there is this capacity to nurture one another by way of violating and abusing one another verbally and mentally. This is not a true sense of manhood. Now, I'm not knocking kink, okay? I'm not knocking, being a hottie, okay, and wearing lingerie, But this large number of respondents to what is accepted on these chat lines as sexual, male sexuality, that is, liberation, using a universal language of helping you out doing you a favor that your girlfriend won't do for you and not creating a chore out of it, is intimidation toward true form of masculinity in the real world. This is something that I find has a high density of the culture of hatred, the culture of perversion, that attracts the clergy and the football players and the athletes. And so in the pornography assimilation that is co-joined with using these images on fantasy chatline attractions, you learn its betrayal, because there's no relationships, there's no monogamy, and it's wham bam thank you man, and it's of a definitive appearance of selfishness and a culture of narcissism that contains considerable displays of ruthless affection. This is all from a sex party line. There's a lot that you could read into this. And this is why the heart remains lonely, the heart remains steadfast on trying to seek love. It's from the abuse of gender ranking and the adult chatline structural realities of eye-opening, illustrative sex play. And we must make this anti-pornography movement that's co-joined with these images accountable, responsible, because there are relations, and there is a lot of sex pig, dungeon, piss, urine, bowel movements, crap, throw up, blood, in between the adult chatline industry and the adult pornography industry. And, you know, at the request of social justice education, we want to create an awareness for people to be enlightened on the addiction. Okay? As the images pop up through the below standard chat line, conversating, it is highly pornographic, because the mind creates the images that you would see in any visual audio portrayal of adult sex. So it's a very rich database of men that can come forward and say, yeah, this crap does make me lonely. And yeah, you know, let's raise the flag, you know, for bringing to light the teachings from our individualistic research. We all do, because we file this information. We file all these stories in our minds that we get from out of the pornography, we get from out of the adult chat, and it's segregating to the man and of course the woman, but the men are really hurting, and they, you know, they could go out to get help about all these pornographic situated evidential sightings with adult chatline addiction and pornographic addiction. And the recovery out there is centered on Christianity, and it's led by men that are happily married with their wives. And the men that are hurting over these addictions have come to me and told me, I'm annoyed by this whole Christian movement trying to address this as an addiction I need to work on. You know, and what we want to do in a secular humanist spiritual movement for men, devoid of hiding behind Jesus or the Bible, is show that there are thousands of victims from these broader contexts that are adult, where change starts with you making the decision in your mind and not blaming it on anybody and not adjusting your recovery to what a full Christian advocacy is showing you. Because when it fails as an ideology, Christianity, people become very hateful and resentful that there was a dogmatic Christian movement telling you that you need to give your tithe, and doing a hook on church membership and money that you owe, correlating itself to you genuinely looking for help. You may find your help in the Christian faith, but that the social psychology for men goes outside institutions. It goes outside your social worker. It goes outside these video portrayals that I've produced for you in the lecturing. It goes outside a religion. It goes outside the prison system and the rehabilitation and the restorative justice that it provides you. When it comes to the tools that you need to learn and hold on to, it should come from partially out of your meditation on seeing what works for you. Okay, that's what we would tell the alcoholic, it's what we would tell the smoker, it's what we tell those that are addicted to chatline visitations and being a guest to some of these online social networking that really suck people in. Be good to yourself and be true to yourself as you are being good to yourself. And make sure that as you're being true to yourself and good to yourself, that you come out of it with sanity, all right? And not the hatred that was explored through specific sexual perversions and activities. God bless you. I love you. 都不是。